Dehydration is absolutely essential to make sure you've got your full quota of oxygen. So when I said the Framingham Heart Study showed that by the age of 50, most people had lost 40% lung capacity, how is that? Many people have become high chest breathers. Do you know what that means? They're only using the top half of their lungs. So what causes high chest breathing? Poor posture. So if you're standing like this, it's impossible to use your abdominal muscles with the breathing process. And you know, our body was designed to use those abdominal muscles with the breathing process. To be able to do that, we have to be standing up straight. We have to make sure our skirt or our pants, you should be able to put your fist in your skirt or your pants. So restriction here prohibits your body using your abdominal muscles with the breathing process.
Hello, I'm Barbara O'Neill, and today we need to talk about something urgent, your lungs. If you're over 40, your lung health might already be at risk, and you may not even realise it. The lungs play a crucial role in your body, providing the oxygen that fuels every cell. But did you know that lung disease is one of the leading causes of death worldwide, and many of us are unknowingly damaging our lungs every day? In this video, we'll dive into the common habits and environmental factors that harm your lungs, and I'll share practical steps you can take right now to protect and restore your lung health. Don't wait until it's too late. This information could change your life. Stay with me to learn how to stop destroying your lungs and start taking better care of them today. As a thank you for joining me today, we're giving away 100 free copies of my best-selling book to subscribers. So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, like this video, and comment why you want to win.
In the Framingham Heart Study, remember 30,000 people over 30 years? They found that by the age of 50, people had lost 40% lung capacity. Did you hear that? By the age of 50, 40% lung capacity had been lost. Why? Because they don't use their lungs anymore. Do you know, children, they don't worry if they get to this. Children don't worry, so why do we? Now, sitting right now, you're breathing in your lungs 500 mil, you're breathing out 500 mil waste. When you get to the state that I just illustrated to you, you're breathing in 3,600 mil of air. And you're breathing out 3,600 mil of waste. Got that? You see, your lungs are an organ of elimination. Now let's once again go to the CBD, the central business district of the human body, the cell. And the glucose goes in from the food we eat. It goes through a 20-step pathway. And this 20-step pathway gives us 2 units of energy. The end result of the 20-step pathway is a chemical form of glucose called pyruvate. And pyruvate, as the chemical form of glucose, gets fed into the powerhouse. The powerhouse is an 8-step pathway, and this 8-step pathway delivers to us 36 units of energy. How come an 8-step pathway gives us 36 units and a 20-step pathway only gives us 2? It's oxygen. So this pathway is called the anaerobic pathway. Anaerobic meaning no oxygen. This pathway is the aerobic pathway. It's called the aerobic pathway because it uses oxygen. Now let me take that into a bit more detail to help you understand. So the glucose goes in and there's 20 different chemical reactions, 20 little pathways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And the pyruvate comes out. Because there's no oxygen in this pathway, only twice, energy's thrown off. Pyruvate comes out. Now that's the chemical form of glucose that gets fed into the 8-step pathway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because of the presence of oxygen, every pathway is giving off 3, sometimes 4 units of energy. Woo! For those who know the inside of the workings of the cell, that's the That's the glycolytic pathway, and this is into the mitochondria, specifically the Krebs cycle. Now, for those who don't know the technical, I'll speak English again. How are you going to feel if every single one of your 100 trillion cells have enough oxygen to get down to that pathway? You're going to be jumping out of your skin with energy.
Lack of oxygen can come from multiple factors. One common reason is shallow breathing. Many people don't realise that they are not fully using their lungs, which leads to less oxygen being circulated throughout the body. Another factor is poor posture. When you slouch or hunch over, you compress your lungs and prevent them from expanding fully. Over time, this contributes to the gradual loss of lung capacity that the Framingham Heart Study highlighted. By the age of 50, many people have already lost a significant portion of their lung capacity due to these habits. Additionally, stress plays a major role in restricting oxygen flow. When you're stressed, your breathing becomes shallow, and your body doesn't receive the oxygen it needs. Over time, this can lead to fatigue and a lack of energy. That's why it's important to take deep breaths, practice good posture, and incorporate exercises that promote lung function, such as aerobic activities. Walking, running, and swimming can help increase your lung capacity and oxygen intake.
One of the causes could be dehydration. Dehydration? What's dehydration got to do with oxygen? Well, let's go. Remember Proverbs 14 verse 6? It says, "A scorner seeketh wisdom and findeth it not, but knowledge is easy to him that understands." My aim is to give you an understanding. So in our lungs, so here's our lungs. Got two lungs. The trachea comes down, and the trachea splits into two, and then it's like the branches of a tree. Maybe if I don't move. So it's like the branches of a tree, and let's magnify the end of the branch. The end of the branch has got looks like a little bunch of grapes, and they're called the alveoli. You've heard of the alveoli? Let's magnify an alveoli. Now the alveoli has a little capillary network going over it. And that little capillary network basically looks like that. So it's over every little one. And I used to say we have about 5 million alveoli. And my husband is my biggest critic. And I'm very glad, because if I pass Michael, I'll pass anyone. And I was reading a study done by some doctors, and they found that every cigarette smoked kills an alveoli. And when I said that, I saw my husband quickly get paper and pen, and he said to me later, "Impossible." He said, "Impossible. If an alveoli basically explodes with every cigarette smoke," he said, "it's impossible if we've only got, say, 5 million. So I went back to the drawing boards, and I went to Gray's Anatomy, 300 million. We have 300 million alveoli. Isn't that incredible? Now, inside every alveoli is a minuscule droplet of water. Now, because of the surface tension of water, have you ever looked at a creek or a lake and you see some little creatures walking on top of the water? Do you know why they're walking on top of the water? Because of surface tension of water. Now, I know I trained as a hairdresser when I first left school, and we learnt about this, because when you put shampoo in your hair, you break the surface tension, and that's how you wash your hair. So if you were to squirt shampoo or dish detergent into water, the little creatures on top of the water would sink, because you've actually broken the surface tension. Now, because of the surface tension of water, every time we breathe out, that little alveoli collapses, and that allows all the carbon dioxide to come out. You see this little blood capillary network? When we breathe in, like this, we're putting oxygen in there, and what happens is there's like a dropping of the carbon dioxide and a picking up of the oxygen in that blood, and then we breathe out the carbon dioxide. It's an amazing process. Now, if the person's dehydrated and they don't have that little minuscule droplet of water in the lungs, that little alveoli doesn't totally collapse, which means when we breathe in, we can't get a full quota of oxygen because there's still a little bit of carbon dioxide in that alveoli.
When we aren't properly hydrated, this process becomes less efficient. The alveoli, which are the tiny air sacs in our lungs responsible for the exchange of gases, rely on that small droplet of water to fully collapse and release all the carbon dioxide. Without enough water, these alveoli don't fully collapse, which leaves residual carbon dioxide inside. This prevents fresh oxygen from completely filling the alveolus during the next breath. As a result, the oxygen level in the blood can decrease, leading to fatigue and lower energy levels. This is why hydration plays such a key role in our overall oxygen intake. Even though we might be breathing normally, if we're dehydrated, we won't be getting the full benefit of each breath. Over time, this can impact everything from our brain function to physical performance, as oxygen is essential for almost every bodily process. In addition to affecting oxygen levels, dehydration can also make the lungs' mucous membranes drier and less effective at trapping dust and other particles. This increases the risk of respiratory infections, as our lungs are one of the body's primary defense systems against pathogens in the air we breathe. Therefore, staying hydrated is not just important for preventing thirst or keeping skin healthy, it directly impacts lung function, oxygenation, and overall well-being. To maintain optimal hydration, it's recommended to drink plenty of water throughout the day, especially if you're engaging in physical activity or spending time in dry environments. Water is essential for the body's basic functions, and when it comes to breathing and lung health, its role cannot be underestimated. Simple steps like staying hydrated can help ensure our lungs are functioning efficiently and that our body is getting the oxygen it needs.
So when I said the Framingham Heart Study showed that by the age of 50, most people had lost 40% lung capacity, how is that? Many people have become high chest breathers. Do you know what that means? They're only using the top half of their lungs. So what causes high chest breathing? Poor posture. So if you're standing like this, it's impossible to use your abdominal muscles with the breathing process. And you know, our body was designed to use those abdominal muscles with the breathing process. To be able to do that, we have to be standing up straight. We have to make sure our skirt or our pants, you should be able to put your fist in your skirt or your pants. So restriction here prohibits your body using your abdominal muscles with the breathing process. And that's why it's so important to do exercises every day that strengthen your abdominal muscles. You see, we have a muscle called transverse abdominis. It starts at your spine, it connects with your hip and your rib, goes to your other hip and rib and comes back to your spine. So transverse abdominis, when it's strong, these muscles are strong. Can you see, because they're connected to the spine, they cause you to stand upright? One lady said, my abdominal muscles are long gone. I said, well, if they were, you'd be standing like this. Because it's your abdominal muscles that cause you to stand upright. So exercises like Pilates type exercises, you're familiar with Pilates? The whole Pilates is strengthening the core. And the strength of the human body can be determined by the strength of the core. Now, we have an amazing body, and where we lift from has the largest bone in the body. Where's that, students? What's the largest bone in the body? It's your femur. And the largest muscle mass in the body are your quads. Did you know that's where we should lift and bend from? And if you lift or bend like that, all the weight goes here. But if you lift and bend like this, with the back straight, all the weight goes on your thighs. You must stand like this to be able to breathe with your abdominal muscles. In fact, if you were to learn to sing, your first lesson, your teacher would teach you how to breathe with your abdominal muscles. And you should listen to this Andre Bocelli. You think that he can't go any further, and he goes up onto a higher note and goes even longer. Now, there is training there, but he cannot do that unless he breathes with his abdominal muscles. So be very mindful. Some of our guests do yoga, and in yoga, it's one of the first things they teach you is breathe with your abdominal muscles. So not only is hydration important for chronic fatigue syndrome, so is posture. Be very mindful of your posture. In fact, why not make it a little task to do over these next few days? Keep your eye on each other. And when you're sitting at the table, how are you going to sit? Shoulders must be back, back straight. It's actually even a good idea to overdo it, and then you'll naturally come back to a better way of standing. In a little book called Counsel on Diet and Food, I read this quite amazing statement, and it's a comment on young Daniel. Remember Daniel in the Bible who refused the king's food and wine and just ate the simple food and drank water? Here's the comment. It's quite a large sentence. The first one is, the erect form, the fair countenance, the undimmed senses, the untainted breath, all so many certificates of good habits, insignia of the nobility with which nature honours those who are obedient to her laws. It's quite a statement, isn't it? They're the insignia. In fact, there's the certificates that I'm interested in for people who want to work at our health centre. I'm more interested in that than any paper certificates they may have.
And that's where the importance of taking care of our body really comes in. When we practice good posture and breathing techniques, we can unlock the full potential of our lung capacity, which is something that often goes unnoticed until issues arise. But it's not just about lung health, it's about the whole body working together efficiently. When we stand up straight, engage our abdominal muscles, and breathe deeply, we're supporting not only our respiratory system, but also our core strength and overall vitality. You see, when we take care of these small but essential aspects of our body, like proper breathing, posture, and lifting techniques, it helps prevent long-term damage. Many people don't realize how small daily habits, such as slouching or lifting improperly, can accumulate and lead to significant problems over time. This is why it's so crucial to take a proactive approach to health and wellness. So whether it's through Pilates or simply being mindful of how we stand, sit or breathe, we can all make improvements that benefit our health in the long run. It's about building good habits that support our body's natural design, allowing us to move, breathe and live more efficiently. And remember, it's never too late to start. Whether you're in your 20s or your 70s, small changes can make a big difference in how your body functions, helping you feel stronger and more energized every day.
In my last lecture, I showed you the most powerful way to oxygenate your body is exercise. And the exercise that gets that breathing, remember 3,500 mils of air when you're breathing deeply after your high intensity exercise. So high intensity interval training, very important because those lungs need to be challenged. Strength comes by exercise. There is no other way. Sometimes when I push myself, I think I mentioned the other day, when I get to 20 seconds high intensity, my body says that'll do. And when I get to 25 seconds, my body says this is getting ridiculous. And when I get to 30 seconds high intensity, I nearly feel like I'm dying. And sometimes I'm like this. My lungs hurt. I love that. I've just stretched them out. So this is the sort of exercise that will prevent losing lung capacity. One lady, when she heard this, she thought, right, even though I've got no energy, I'm just going to push myself. And she did a big 5K jog just about, came back like she was nearly dead, fell on the lounge and said, see, I told you exercise was no good for me. One lady, she decided she was going to start. You know, you start where you're at. And she walked around the house the first day. Second day, she walked around the house twice. Third day, she walked around the house 3 times. Fourth day, she walked around the house 4 times. Fifth day, she walked around the block. Can you see that? You just start where you're at. You just push yourself a little bit more. Make it your aim to go a bit further every day, a bit further in your time. And little by little, remember the book Pace? Progressive. This thing is progressive. The more you do it, the stronger you'll get and the easier it will become. In a little book called Counsels on Health, I think it's page 57, I read this. In a short while, you will so experience the benefits of pure air and oxygen, pure air and exercise, you wouldn't live without these blessings. And I have found that to be true. No matter where I am, know what I'm doing. Whenever I go somewhere, the first thing I do, I'm looking now, where can I walk in the morning? Where can I go? Where am I able to do this? The more hectic my program, the more I exercise.
And that's exactly what I found to be the key, consistency. You don't have to go all out on day one, but you do need to get started. Even small steps count. The point is to begin where you are and gradually increase your efforts. Whether it's walking a little further each day or challenging yourself with more intense bursts of exercise, the body adapts and strengthens. A lot of people give up too soon because they expect immediate results. But remember, progress is often slow and steady. The more you push yourself over time, the better your body will respond. Your stamina improves, your lung capacity increases, and eventually what seemed hard or even impossible becomes manageable. Another important aspect is enjoying the process. I understand that not everyone enjoys exercise right away, but as with anything, once you begin to see the benefits, your mindset shifts. Exercise doesn't just become something you have to do, it becomes something you look forward to. I've had people tell me that after a few weeks of sticking with a routine, they suddenly realize how much more energy they have. Their sleep improves, their mood lifts, and they start to feel stronger, both physically and mentally. That's when it really clicks for them. That movement is life. The more you move, the more alive you feel. So I encourage you to start wherever you are, whether it's walking, jogging, or even doing some light stretching. Begin today. Little by little, it will add up, and soon enough, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come.
What needs to be addressed is the quality of air that you're breathing. So it's very important to check whether you have exposure to chemicals. Very important that you, and I'm talking about the airways, whether you have any exposure to mold. In Australia, when you buy a pillow, it's got a date on it. You know why it's got a date on it? They suggest you throw it away. Every pillow in my house and at our health centre has a pillow protector on it because it's easy to wash a pillow protector. You can even wash your pillows. We spend a third of our life in bed, is that right? Third of our life in bed. So you've got to seriously address the quality of your bedding, and when I say quality of your bedding, make sure you haven't got chemical exposure in quilts and things that are made out of plastic type materials. I remember I was in New Zealand and I went into the room I was staying and the blankets were made out of like a polyester, and I thought, oh dear. First night I thought, no, it's not keeping me warm. And then I looked on top of the cupboard and there was a big container full of woolen blankets. So I got a chair and I climbed up and I got the woolly blankets. Go for your natural fibres. Try and be surrounded by natural fibres when you're sleeping. Cotton sheets, cotton blankets. It's probably all you need here in Singapore, yeah, is cotton blankets. Ones that breathe. Yes?
Like for humid weather like Singapore, what do you think of the down feather? And also one more, which is down feather, especially.
Would you ever need a down feather in Singapore? Well, some rooms, if I was to sleep in this room, I'd probably need a down feather because it's so cold in here. I find that the air conditioning is often very cold. But one of the problems with down, and I have a down quilt on my bed, but if you're in a moist environment, those feathers can absorb the moisture. And if that's not aired, then that can grow mold. So that's one thing you would have to be careful of. Mind you, in our health retreat, just about every quilt in every room is either feather or wool, but we've just gone into winter and we're cold. Yeah. Oh, the silk's very good. You see, the natural fibre breathes. You just need to be mindful of what we all should do when we get up in the morning is take the bedclothes back and let the bed have an air, because we lose moisture in the night. That's why you have to be careful of your bed, that there's no mold in your pillows. And if you have a night where you perspire a lot, that goes into your bedding. So it's very important to make sure there's fans on, or, you know, if the air conditioning's working well, that can take moisture out of the air.
In addition to maintaining air quality and bedding hygiene, it's crucial to be mindful of the overall environment in your bedroom. The presence of indoor plants can be beneficial as they can help improve air quality by absorbing toxins and releasing oxygen. However, it's important to choose plants that thrive in low light and don't require excessive moisture, as damp conditions can contribute to mold growth. Plants like snake plants or peace lilies can be ideal choices, as they are both low maintenance and effective at purifying the air. Ventilation also plays a key role in maintaining a healthy sleeping environment. If possible, open windows during the day to allow fresh air to circulate. If you live in a humid area, consider using a dehumidifier to reduce excess moisture in the air. This will not only help prevent mold, but also create a more comfortable sleeping atmosphere. Moreover, consider the impact of your electronics. Many people keep their phones, tablets, or laptops near their beds. While it might seem convenient, these devices can emit blue light, which can interfere with your sleep cycle. Try to limit screen time before bed and keep electronic devices out of your sleeping area. Instead, consider reading a physical book or practicing relaxation techniques such as meditation or gentle stretching to help prepare your body for sleep. Thank you for watching. I hope this information helps you take better care of your lungs and overall health. Remember, small changes can make a big difference. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.